shoes off right now. And let your feet feel the floor, feel the carpet. Know that we are supported by the earth, which is pretty amazing. Really feel that and enjoy it with your feet on the floor. Then when you get home this afternoon, I ask you to take off your shoes and your socks and to walk around barefoot. Walk, run, or simply remain in one place, but flush your feet against the solidity of the earth. Be fully present, fully loved, and fully loving. Enjoy the moment in silence, in awe, and then in playful joy. Let us worship today with our eyes and ears and fingertips, and with our bare feet. Connect to it all. Blessed be, and amen. Good morning, everyone. You can put your shoes back on if you want, or not. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the next chapter of your life. There is always a journey each one of us must take. I am grateful for my journey. It's healing and spiritual. How about you? Have you gotten to the point in your life that you can honestly say to God or the universe or the great mystery of life, thank you. Thank you for my journey. The one I got. When a tough journey enters your life, which it does for everyone, no exceptions, what if you believed it was for a reason instead of fighting it, actually embracing it? Though not easy at first, practice thinking doors close and open for a reason. We learn, we become stronger, we embrace a higher order, a higher power, and the most important thing to learn is to never, ever, ever give up on yourself. But what happens when you get stuck? I have had easily over 100 clients come in and start their sessions with me saying, I am stuck. I don't know what to do. I was hoping you could tell me. I always say, well, I can tell you some things you can do to get unstuck, but only you can decide to do them. Let me start with, everyone gets stuck, sometimes in their lives. Everyone, no exceptions. So if you're feeling stuck right now about something, let's start with, that's normal. You're normal. There's nothing wrong with you. We all feel lost sometimes, not knowing what to do next. This happens when unexpected negative things happen to us, like getting laid off from your job, finding out that your partner, the love of your life, is having an affair, getting a divorce, having a child or a partner or a parent who dies suddenly, getting dumped by our boyfriend or girlfriend, being diagnosed with a deadly disease. Lots of things can get us stuck. Anything that suddenly changes the rhythm of our lives, interrupts what we know, and we think to ourselves, now what? I'm sure I've told you when I got my second cancer diagnosis, after being cancer-free for 7 years. I was pushing full steam ahead, working on my book, 2 lifetimes, when suddenly everything changed. I wasn't going straight ahead anymore. I was turning left and having to go back to that hospital, MD Anderson. Lots of times when we find ourselves stuck, we hadn't planned on that. We had planned on this. This is the way we're going. And the power that's bigger than me said, no, this is the way you're going. I didn't want to. What then? I'm going to share some tips on what you can do to unstuck yourself. First of all, you must come to believe that no matter what your circumstances, You always have choice. Even when the universe yanks you to the left and you thought you were going straight ahead, you have choice about it. You can shrink things down or you can blow them up. You can awfulize them or you can realize that this too shall pass. And I need to look for the reason this happened to me right now in my life. Why did this come to me? You might not know. That is point 2 at getting unstuck. It's very okay not to know yet. If you're too comfortable, it's time to move on. If you're terrified of what's next, you're on the right track. Think about that. It's very okay not to know yet. Sometimes when we're stuck, we have to sit there for a little while and give ourselves permission to think outside of the box. One of my clients was recently and suddenly laid off from her job that she loved. It's the best job she'd ever had in her life. Even though her boss had told her the week before not to worry because she was not going to get laid off. Well, evidently things changed, and she did get laid off. She felt horribly stuck, having just signed a 12-month apartment lease and scared to death of not being able to pay her rent. So I told her, and I tell you too, we don't need to know all the next steps. We only need to know one next step. We don't have to have all the traffic lights green before we leave home. We leave home, turns red, we stop. Turns green, we go. And that's how life is. My client was clear. Her next step was to get a job. I think by now she has sent out over 100 resumes and letters of introduction. She hasn't signed a contract yet, but she has been chosen for a 3rd interview with one particular company. I think it's tomorrow. So let's all close our eyes and send out some energy. Let her get that job. Blessed be and amen. The next step in getting unstuck is to figure out what you really want. Get specific. My client wants a fully remote job as a personnel assistant to the CEO. I said to her, great, that's what you're going to get then. You see, when we get very specific, it seems that the universe steps in to help us. I believe it happens. I've seen it happen too many times in my own life and in others. Turns out her 3rd interview tomorrow is a fully remote job as the executive assistant to the company's CEO. Exactly what she's looking for. Made me smile. I want to tell you the story with no names attached, the next story. One of my best friends that I've known almost 30 years found out about 5 years ago that her beloved husband, with whom she has 5 children, had been having an affair with his secretary at work for almost 15 years. She was stunned and stuck. I asked her, let's look at your options. You could stay married and get marriage counseling. You could stay married and beat him up for the rest of his life for cheating on you. You could leave and get a divorce, or you could do nothing and probably get cancer. I asked her, which of those options, or any others that I haven't thought of, was your highest truth? She knew immediately. She wanted to stay married. She loved being married, and she loved her having a large family, something she didn't have as a kid. And she loved her husband still. She even got to compassion and understanding for him, knowing how destructive to our bodies keeping secrets can be. She came to know this was only part of him and made room for the rest of him. That was about 10 years ago, and today they have built an honest and loving marriage, both enjoying their kids and their grandkids together. Another thing that helps people get unstuck is to read. Read people who you admire and respect. Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Ellen DeGeneres, Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Benjamin Franklin, Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama. Read what they have learned in life. Read inspirational works from people who have faced life's challenges too. Remember Christopher Reeves got paralyzed from the waist down, and he wrote during that time. Read it. It's so inspiring. Read from people who have faced life's challenges, people who are handicapped or otherwise impaired. I also suggest getting online and searching for inspirational quotes. Hundreds of them come up. Here's Mr. Rogers. There are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. And the third way is to be kind. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Look for quotes of people you admire. From Wayne Dyer, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will actually change. Deepak Chopra, no matter the situation, remind yourself, I have choices. And this is one of my favorites from The Joy of Dad. Starting today, I need to forget what's gone, appreciate what still remains, and look forward to what's coming next. Thank you, Dad. Ellen DeGeneres, I work really hard at trying to see the big picture and not getting stuck in my own ego. I believe we're all put on this planet for a purpose, and we all have a different purpose. When you connect with love, loving yourself, loving others, loving everything you encounter, then everything unfolds and your purpose becomes very clear. And remember, it's very okay not to know that. If you're too comfortable, it's time to move on. If you're terrified of what's next, you're on the right track. That's a quote from Susan Fallis Hill. Think about that. It's very okay not to know yet. No matter the situation, remind yourself, I have choice. I am not a victim. I am actually in charge of my life. And I say that to you. You are not a victim. You are actually the one person that's in charge of your life. One thing I do when I get stuck is read inspiring quotes. I just go to Google and I type in inspiring quotes, or funny quotes, or quotes that motivate, and they come up, and I read them, and I feel better. Let's go back to Mr. Rogers. The first way to be successful is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. And the third way is to be kind. Someone recommended a book to me in one of my sessions a couple weeks ago called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie McZeezy. The mole asks the boy, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he answers, kind. You see, there's wisdom everywhere. I have 2 more thoughts about how to get yourself unstuck. Remember the law of attraction. Send it out to the energy of the universe exactly what it is you want sent back to you. For example, we own 3 Dollar General stores. Well, we're trying to sell one of them, and the guy who wanted to buy it couldn't get the financing for it. We were supposed to close October 1st, and then we were told November 1st, and then surely by December 1st. But so far, no buyer. And this week I suddenly remembered the law of attraction, so I've been sending out a viable buyer comes to us. A viable buyer comes to us over and over and over again. At every red light, I say, a viable buyer comes to us. How important is this law of attraction? I don't know exactly how much power we have in interacting and creating with the universe, but I think it's substantial. Alabama. We had this Dollar General for a number of years, maybe 10 years, and the lawn man told us they're moving. I'm like, what? What do you mean? He said they built a bigger Dollar General down the way, and they're moving. I said, oh, well, gee, nobody told us. And so we've had to figure out, who can buy it? A viable buyer comes to us. It's coming, and I will let you know when he or she shows up. What does this have to do with you? Well, if you are stuck and having a hard time, send out what you absolutely want. A job comes to me. My marriage is healed. Peace comes to me and to the world and all around. And from the Bible, Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, New International Version, it says, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. I have had that experience in my life. Have you? Really going for what it is you want. The last tip I want to leave you with is to think about this. In your marriage, are you giving what you're asking for in your primary relationship? I had a session this week where the wife kept saying what she needed to be happy in the marriage. I need to feel loved by you, cherished by you, and safe with you. The husband then blurted out, so do I, which was news to his wife. So take care to stay connected to your spouse and focus on giving and not getting. Now here are the 7 rules of life. Number 1, let it go. Never ruin a good day by thinking about a bad yesterday. Number 2, give it time. Time heals everything that's healable. Number 3, don't compare. The only person you should try to beat is the person you were yesterday. Be a better you. Number 4, stay calm. It's okay not to have everything figured out. Know that in time, you'll get there. I think I've shared with you before, my younger son said, Mom, what if I don't figure it out? And I said, well, you will. And he said, but what if I don't? I said, well, give it some time. I think some answers will come to you. And they have. The next one is, only you are in charge of your happiness. If something isn't working in your life, you need to do something about it. Take some action. And finally, number 7, smile. Life is short. Enjoy it while you have it. I want to end with a quote from the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. The boy says, quite excitedly, I finally figured out the purpose of life. It's love. It's to give love and to receive love. May we all know that. Namaste.